The abuser's the one who needs to go.
I totally agree with you.
He needs to go.
And you spoke about children and the impact. I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about the impact this has on children.
Oh yes, I'm comfortable.
Oh, okay.
I'm very comfortable. Yes, it's. I know growing up in that environment, like I said, you live in a constant state of alarm.
Wow.
Which is horrible. In fact, it affects your brain. There is research and data that states as a fact, kids that live in that environment are being brain damaged.
Wow.
There are neurons and because the stress hormone is constantly released. And even if the husband, the abuser does not touch the children and only abuses the wife or the spouse, whoever that is, those kids are horribly affected. Horribly affected. A lot of these courts, they say best interest of the child, and I have to say from experience and from on a personal and professional level, they do not have the best interests of the child. That's why domestic violence, home violence is so prevalent. I can say that hands down because they may say best interests of the child, but what transpires as far as the ruling, it's not.
Right.
Like joint custody, I find that when you have an abuser, one of the parents is abusive, they should do away with joint custody.
Right.
You are putting that child in harm's way. And then that child is going to turn into your future abuser or your future victim. And why?
Exactly.
For what? For what? And that child, there's a study that if you take two children, one that's very sharp and one that isn't so sharp in a classroom, and the teacher's giving the same amount of information, but you take that child that's sharp and he or she is in a violent atmosphere, and then the child, excuse me, who is not so sharp or you know, just average, you know, and gets the same amount of information, the child who is sharp but living in that environment will absorb less information.
Of course.
Than the child who is not so sharp, you know, but they live in a good environment, a healthy environment.
Supportive.
And it doesn't even have to mean that mom and dad both get along, but they are with a good parent. That child will go further ahead.
Wow.
And that's a fact.
Yeah.
There's research providing that. So kids suffer tremendously.
Wow.
Tremendously. And like I said, your life is stolen. Because when you live in that environment, you cannot know what it is that you want to do in your life because you are constantly trying to survive.
Exactly.
You're on the run. Even though you go home, but home is not safe.
Right.
Home is hell.
You're wondering when the next shoe is going to drop. Well, you know, if it's your mom who's being abused, if she's going to be hurt or even die. I mean, even as children, I think sometimes we think children are not in tune in terms of what's happening. Kids are very intelligent and they know exactly what's happening if nothing even is being said about it.
Absolutely, 100%. They are totally, completely affected. Completely. They're scared. They're. It's like living with the terrorist.
Wow, you said that, and I can't. It just really brings it home when you say it that way.
It's home terrorism.
Wow.
Really. Yes.
Wow.
And you know, you could run away from Osama bin Laden. You could run away from Saddam Hussein. But when he or she is in your home, where are you going to run?
Exactly.
Where?
You have nowhere else to go.
Where?
That's
Exactly.
Wow. That's
Exactly.
powerful.